Thank you for watching this feedback video for written assignment number 2. It's just a lot easier to provide a feedback, especially for this assignment when we're talking about numbers. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first question. So the first question talks about merit pay. Specifically, we had an example where Elizabeth starts off at 48,000. Robert in the same job starts off at $45,500 a year. Apparently, Elizabeth had a bit more experience than Robert. Now, under the merit pay system, Elizabeth not only outperformed Robert, but she out-earned him as well, earning 4% annual increases throughout those 5 years, while Robert only earned 2%. Now, that doesn't sound like a big difference, but just like interest on your loans, it can add up over time. And so the bottom line is at the end of 5 years, Elizabeth earned $58,399.34, while Robert only earned $50,235.68. So she's earning $8,000 more a year for doing the same job just because her performance appraisals and her merit outperformed Robert. So hopefully you were not only able to get those answers, but also uh, summarize your findings. What were your thoughts on how these increased over time? Are the salaries similar over the 5 years? Things like that. Anything you found interesting. The second question is pretty straightforward. It's an opinion question. So there's really no wrong or right answer as long as you provided your reasoning. So first explain the difference between seniority pay and merit pay and provide advantages and disadvantages to both because they certainly both have their advantages. Seniority pay is supposed to reward those who have experience, who have been in the field for a long time, but also merit pay rewards those who are working, who outperform their peers, right? And so they certainly both have their advantages and disadvantages. One of the disadvantages with merit pay is that it could be subjective. I've worked under a lot of different bosses over my years, and really my pay increase depends on what my boss thinks of me under a merit system, and so that can be a little bit frustrating as well. That could be a disadvantage, for instance. All right, let's go ahead and look at the next question. Just as long as you answered that question and provided your thoughts and opinions and critical thinking, you should do just fine on that question. Number 3 talks about piecework. Now, this is a little bit more difficult. I go ahead and I use again, I use Excel to figure everything out. And so basically what I have done is I plugged in here in this first column the garments that were above standard, so 10, 5, 0, 11, 7, and 3. And then based on the piecework standard and the piecework incentive award, $1.50 per item above that standard. So here, for instance, we have 10 is above standard. And then here I calculated 10 times $1.50 equals 15. And so that's the first hour. The second hour is $7.50. Of course, there was no piecework award given in the third hour, and the fourth hour, 16.5, fifth hour, 10.5, and then the sixth hour, 4.5. So here's all the different earning potentials per hour. Now, in addition to that, they also earn $7.50 minimum wage. And so here, all the way to the right then would be the last hourly wage. So it would be their above standard bonus, if you will, plus their hourly rate. This is what really I'm looking for here. We have $22.50. They earned the first hour, the second hour, they earned $15. And then since there was no above standard in that third hour, they earned their minimum wage of $7.50. In the fourth hour, they earned $24. The fifth hour, they earned $18. And in the last hour, they earned $12 for a grand total of $99 for the day. Now, this is a really good comparison because had they not had a standard, a piecework incentive award, this person would have earned $7.50 an hour for 6 hours. They would have earned $45. But because they had the incentive award in place, they actually almost doubled they did double their pay for that work that day. They earned $99 that day. And certainly, and hopefully that provides an incentive for those workers to work a little bit more efficiently. The last question talks about automation. I've been hearing this for years about automation is going to take over. We're having robotics in the factories. It's going to put a lot of factory workers out of business. I've been actually hearing that for a very long time. But one of the things that I want to talk about, though, is that although robotics may take over factory line production, you still need employees to take care of those machines, right? Just like before, 30 years ago, the IT profession, for instance, was not as lucrative, or there weren't a lot of jobs in that field. 30 years ago, you had some people that worked in computers, but not many. Now, every business has a full department of IT professionals. And so while some jobs are being taken away, other jobs are being created. And so these are some of the skills that you need to think about, especially if you're working in manufacturing, or let's say supply chain management. You're seeing this with Amazon. They're starting to use a lot of robotics and a lot of different automated processes. If that's a field that you're in, I certainly wouldn't be too nervous about that, but I would look at honing your skills in a different area so that you can ensure employability. Looking at automation repair, for instance, or the software that goes along with that automation would be a great example. All right, so hopefully you were able to answer those questions based on what I just provided. You can go ahead and look at your scores and then compare that with the grading rubric and this video. All right, thank you so much.